So here we are at Google Classroom with the 4 tabs across the top. We've got Stream, Classwork, People, and Grades. We're going to start with People, which shows you all of your students that are in your class. You can invite guardians, in other words, send an email to parents so that they can get weekly summary emails. And then at the top, you've got teachers. So if you have a co-teacher that you want to add so that they've got visibility, or maybe an intervention specialist that you want to add so they have visibility, to add a teacher, you're just going to click on the icon at the top that looks like a little person with the plus sign, and then type in their name and go ahead and click on that, and then click on invite. And it's just like inviting students. If you were to invite students to a Google Classroom, they then have to accept that and hit join. The last tab is grades, and I like to use this as a nice place to see where work is missing. However, I don't like to put in grades here, and I'll explain to you why. So as I scroll down here and I'm looking at the grades for my Math AM class, I don't see any that are missing there. So I'm going to scroll over a little bit just because I want to show you one that might be missing. Oh, here we go, at the very bottom. So here for the week of 4/27, in red, you can see anybody that has missed turning in an assignment by your due date. So again, that's why the due date is so important. Now, if I did get this late, I could enter in his score right here. However, when I do it here, it only saves that as a draft. It does not send that grade and that score to the student. I can push it to the student by clicking on the 3 dots and choosing return, meaning return that back to the student, like handing back a paper. But when I said I don't like to enter my grades here, it's because I have to do that then for every grade that I put in here. So when I am entering grades itself, I like to do it on the assignment. I like to use this grades view just so that I can see quickly what is missing and what is not. And it is also useful sometimes to see your class average up here just so that you can see, out of 10, 6.77 isn't great. That's like a high D. So maybe whatever this assignment was, I need to go back and reteach it because a lot of people didn't do well. Now, when I'm entering grades, I actually like to go to the assignment itself, like this one here, and click on the number that it's assigned to. And it gives me a list of all of my students here, as well as off to the side on the right here. But if I've graded them and I keep them on a piece of paper, for example, so I just want to quickly enter the grades here. If I click on each one, I can put in their grades. And just like in that grade book view, it saves it initially as a draft. But notice what's happening off to the side. It's putting a check mark next to their name. So that means I can return it to these kids all at the same time without having to click it on each individual student. The only downfall of this is if I hit return for all of these students that I've now put grades in for, and you can see the draft for, I like to give comments to my students when I return stuff. And so I can put in a private comment. However, it's going to send that same private comment to every student. So typically what I like to do is everybody that did well, I'll send back their stuff with a great job. And maybe for these students that didn't do as well, I'll send that back to them separately so that I could put in a comment, something like review the ones you missed on your keynote. And then when I hit return, that will post back to them in their Google Classroom. So again, I like to put in my grades here under each assignment as opposed to the grade.